Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. Your host here, OC again, doing another one, and I'm still getting my wheels going. I kind of I don't get it. We're going over the so far right now that it's easy to do a podcast, but then you kind of have to hold all your conversations for the podcast. But anyways, today I'm excited. I got my good friend and then wonderful, talented Cameron Ermish. That's some ASMR. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
I'm like, that sounds cool.
Yeah. My last name is German, but when my dad's side of the family came to New York, they went through Ellis Island, so they actually Americanized it.
Really?
Yeah. So like with German, there's like SCH. That's like a lot in like the German language. It's still pronounced like shit, like the ish sound, but so like my last name is Ermish. It used to be Ermisch.
Oh, okay.
But my family moved out of Germany after World War I, and they were so embarrassed about what happened in Germany and like what the Germans did that when they got to Ellis Island, they Americanized the last name, and also my grandpa was already born at the time, and they stopped speaking German in the household. They're like, we are American now.
Oh, so they were actually like when they came over, they were kind of like embarrassed, I guess.
A little bit. That's how my dad described it, and obviously, you see these other things from like a lot of other German families at the time, where it's like, it actually does make a lot of sense, and I fully believe it because I'm pretty like it has to be true.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah,
We already giving me a history lesson.
A little bit. Yeah. It's like, this is a music podcast, right?
I honestly, I've made it into like an anything podcast. So I'm like, it's like people come on here and they're like, well, what are you gonna ask us? And I'm like, I don't know.
Like, I think we're just having a conversation.
We literally just like hang out here and like talk, and some people, because I think a few people would ask me, is like, oh, if you want to send over a list of the questions you're gonna ask them, like, I don't even know those yet. Like, that's not I don't plan them out, because I feel like it's just nicer to have a more organic conversation. I feel like crazy shit pops up anyway.
Well, especially I guess with like a lot of the bands that you're doing, you did have like, what are you guys doing now? What's your plans for the future? How did you like feel about the event, stuff like that? Where it's like,
I told you Zenny was gonna crack out here eventually.
You're lucky you're cute.
Exactly.
But there's another thing. It's like, when you're doing like the people with the art booths and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think you've talked to a few.
Yeah. So I those are the ones I didn't, and I was like, okay, the music ones, like I've been in a band, like I know kind of like similar like stories or experiences we're gonna share together. But like I've done some of like the artisans and like local business owners. It's like I have no like input. Like one of the first ones that I had like that was the guys from Blaze Culture, the dude that did the ramps.
Yeah.
Stuff.
That was awesome.
I was like, all I have is my experience like skating in middle school and like every Tony Hawk Pro Skater that I've ever played. Like that's all I have to like talk about with these guys. I'm like, let's try to stretch that out into a podcast.
I mean, the Tony Hawk thing, that's basically music too. Like it is. Those game albums like changed a lot of kids in like the early 2000s.
Tell me that wasn't like a lot of people's like introduction into like just punk and punk rock like music.
Yeah, pop punk, all that. Like, oh God, my older brother showed me a lot of like the early emo pop punk stuff, and then we played the games, and it showed me a lot more. I was just like, wow, like I think I found my thing. I think I fuck with this.
That's exactly true, because I can't remember like my first experience into music, anything like into like a rock genre at all was my cousin, and then my cousin was super into Linkin Park at the time. Like, he had his little like spiky hair too and everything, and I was like, I thought my cousin was cool, so anything he liked, I was like, that's cool too. Yeah. And he sold me a Linkin Park CD, because he was like, you can't borrow it, you can buy it. He sold it to me for like $5.
Which one?
Hybrid Theory.
Okay, it had to be Hybrid
Out of the case. Just like a loose CD. And then he used to like he used to love Limp Bizkit, and like that's why like I don't know, like Limp Bizkit now
did he do it for the nookie?
He might have.
He might have done for
I mean, who wouldn't?
It's funny you bring up Limp Bizkit. Well, at the bar I work at, I do put on Nookie as a joke to mess with some of my managers. They immediately go back and change the music.
I don't know. I'll always have like a little nostalgia for them. Like,
so the funny part about Limp Bizkit, and I got to look up this guy's name, but in high school, I was working at this gelato shop in my hometown of Southlake, and I was talking with one of my coworkers who's like already in college and stuff from when I was like 17, 18. And he was telling me about like this friend of his named, I think it's like Brandon something, where all this kid did in like middle school and high school, like after getting out of school, would like lock himself in his room and just like practice drums all the entire time. And I think he ended up playing with like Black Flag, Doyle of the Misfits, and I think he's touring with Limp Bizkit now.
Right now?
Yeah, like
What the shit?
Oh God, I gotta look up his name.
I need to get me an internet lookup guy.
Yeah.
Someone just sitting on the computer.
I mean, I assume it would be Daniel if he didn't leave.
It's true. Like it's like DJ, I needed you to get the laptop.
Yeah, it's Brandon Pertzborn. It says drums, Black Flag, Doyle of the Misfits, Corey Taylor, Suicidal Tendencies, Marilyn Manson, Limp Bizkit.
Shit.
Yeah, like, you know, obviously I've never met this guy, but like, I believe he grew up in Grapevine, which is the town over. So it was just like a small thing. It was like, you know, like this kid worked his ass off, and now he's like touring with like all these big ass acts.
But look at what you're saying though. It took him like going home, and that's all he was doing. Like these people like live it like.
Well, I mean, like especially like the age he was, you know, being like a teenager, it's like he had to grow up into a little bit more of an adult before, because not a lot of people take chances with younger people who can do the job. Yeah, where it's like sometimes it just takes that one big break and then you have it. So like he probably was tour worthy for like 5 years before he ever got picked up.
Well, that's a weird thing in like it's probably in everything, but like I know music especially, like talent is one thing, but there's so many people that have talent and are like great at what they do. People who make it big, it's like it's all like it's a timing, it's chance. Like with this, it's like you got to be good at what you do, and then you have to like get certain breaks. Like at the end of the day, like that's, I mean, it's as much work you put in, like you do need some of these breaks and stuff, just a little bit of luck and chance, but you can create those. I think like that's a skill it takes.
I'll always say, especially in my industry I just realized we never said what I did for Chill Sounds.
What are you?
I was like,
that's my fault. You know, what I mean? I'm telling you, this is only the second one in. All right, of 2022. We're allowed some mistakes. Anyway, so Cameron here did a wonderful job with our sound at Chill Sounds 2, and you did Chill Sounds 1 actually.
Yeah, I've done all of them. Yeah, and it was just that was like a weird like thing where it's like. So this was the third, right?
This was the second one because well, technically because the first time we attempted it, COVID happened, so we didn't do it.
I remember like Daniel texting me and he's like, "Hey, I think I'm adding a second stage." The first time I was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "How am I gonna run that?" And then I borrowed a bunch of gear. Like I went to our my band at the time, Humanica, and I went to our practice space at EMP.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay.
You remember because we visited your spot. Yeah, and then I took a bunch of our cables, our small mixer that we would use for like our click track live, and then like our big ass speaker, because I'm like, I don't have access to all this stuff, right? I just got to steal what I have.
Oh my god!
I mean, I cooled it with my band members. Like, I'll put it back when I'm done with it. But then, so literally, I would run from one stage, set up the band, get everything like audible, and then I would have to run and like as soon as the band started, I had to run inside to go deal with like the next band who was gonna play after that band.
That's right, because I forgot on Chill Sounds 1 the stages weren't back to back.
No,
the one was all the way across in the field.
It was
like,
in the field.
In the field, like across.
So I would actually have to run, and I remember like Daniel coming up to me like multiple times, like, if there's anything you need, I'm like, if you can find me a beer. And then luckily with this past one, Daniel, luckily through his job, had like access to like more speakers and subs. Yeah. So I really didn't have to bring a lot besides like my microphones and like my soundboard and like my laptop to control certain things. But after that, like it became a more streamlined process, especially with having them back to back and having like the garage door as a separator. Yeah. And then you know, because my board has different outputs. I was actually, some bands needed like a vocal monitor or some form of monitor. So luckily I was able to like figure that out. Yeah. Where it's like all the inside speakers were on the left channel and all the outdoor speakers were on the right. So the way I fixed that with like the bands, I would just pan everything either hard right or hard left. So they're only going through the one speaker.
Oh Oh my god.
So like if someone came in where it's like, hey, we want to run stereo, I'm like, I can't do that right now.
It's like, not today. Okay, yeah. we're making it work.
Yeah, it's like we're all figuring it out.
But that's what, like, I feel like most of that festival, like, kind of like gives me that same feeling. It's like, hey, like stuff came up and we just had to like figure it out like on the fly, like because it happened in like a lot of aspects. Because we I think day of like we had like, I don't know, I think it was like 3-4 people were supposed to do security for us. None of them showed up like day of, and then people were supposed to do like parking lot shit. Like, so I was out there like doing the parking lot at the beginning, like trying to park people out there. But most of it was like figuring out. And I'm honestly glad that you were there because like you were able to figure like those things out. Because I think there was one point you were like, I need this and that, and then I think DJ was the one like looking for it. And then like all of a sudden it's like, no, I figured it out. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially at that point where DJ was just like dehydrated and like going through trouble.
Heat stroke, man.
Yeah, I think it was a heat stroke. It was like right after he played his set with his band.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. And then was like, I forgot who it was, but I just remember him being drunk. And he's like, I was like a medic in the army or something. I was like,
oh, that's Christian.
Yeah,
Christian, he was a Marine. Yeah,
he was a Marine. Yeah. That's it. And I just remember like he's still drunk and like he's trying to fix this, and I somehow remembered Connor Wisteria, who is an actual EMT.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I somehow found out that day, like probably 2 hours prior, and I was like, huh, that might come in handy. And then when it came time, like I was like, okay, this is a problem. The band was going all right, and the next band was like starting to set up. So I was like, I got 5 minutes. I'm gonna go find Connor.
Yeah.
And I started talking to Connor, and I was like, so you told me you're EMT, like that's your thing, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, hey, Daniel's like, I don't know, dehydrated or something. Like he's not feeling well. You mind like taking a look at him? And then Connor's like, yeah, let me run to my car, grab my bag. I was he brought a bag. Oh, professional.
Because I had him on here. We were talking about. He's like, yeah, I had my bag in the car, and I'm like, that's such a stroke of luck. You know what I mean?
Oh like, God, I feel bad for saying stroke of luck. Oh. But
we'll add that to the game. Yeah. But no, like that's what I was like, oh, that's again like these. There's a lot of luck involved with that, but that was again really. Like I remember telling him we had a talk because he was like, oh, because I think Connor asked him, he's like, oh, when was the last time you ate? He's like, yesterday, and then we're like, okay, that might be a problem.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm drinking water, and I'm like, you need to be drinking more. Like you're running around, you're outside, it's hot, like you need to overdo it. And anyways, like after like he was feeling a little better, and I was like, hey, just so you know, we're gonna have a talk about this. He's like, I know. It's just I was like, no, not now. You enjoy the day.
Yeah,
you have a good time. Go run the festival. I go when we get home. Like, we're gonna talk about it.
It's like enjoy the fruits of your labor. And then I'll be daddy later.
But no, but you're talking your industry, which is like how long have you been doing like?
I've been running live sound for about like 5 years now. Wow. A little bit more. I guess it'd probably help if I started like where I started and now how I've gotten to where I'm at, where it's like,
if you want to,
educated in high school, I started like, I was like, oh, like so depressed, so angry, so angsty. I'm going to play the drums. So I started playing this drum set, and over years I like would always practice and more. And then like, as soon as I got in my first band, I was like, man, we should like release music. Wow, we have to shell out all this money for like these broken ass demos from people who say they know what they're doing. I was like, man, why don't I just teach myself how to do it, and we could just do it on the cheap and do it whenever. So I started like, buying like an interface, buying like a drum microphone packs, and like recording myself, and then like trying to figure it out. Obviously YouTube helped a lot. And this was around the time I was like 17, 18. And then by the time I graduated high school, I was like, I guess this is kind of where I'm going, like learning how to do audio and video stuff. Mm-hmm. So I went to community college because I didn't want to like mess with like those private ass colleges, or do like any of those like trades, like audio schools. I didn't want to do that either. Mm-hmm. I wanted like free. I wanted to do my own thing, pretty much. And so I went to Northlake Community College in Irving, and I studied audio and video production. So all the audio stuff I was learning was actually stuff I already taught myself how to do, because there's all stuff like, how to do voiceover stuff. It was like, I already learned. I can if I can like mic up a drum kit, I can definitely mic up some like for a voiceover. Yeah. It's not that hard. And so, I stuck with that for a few years. I ended up dropping out. But around the time I was turning 20, my oldest brother, because I have 5 siblings.
Oh my God.
I mean, Hispanic and Catholic.
True.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty conservative.
So if you know, you know. But so my brother was working at this bar in Denton. It's called Harvest House, and at that time he was going to move to Austin to like find a different path for himself because he didn't get hired to do sound at the bar because he was good at it. The owner literally just thought, "Hey, you're really cool. Do you just want to work here as a job? I could teach you how to do it." So he got the job there, and he was working for about, I think, like 8 months or something. And then when he was quitting, he was like, "Hey, you guys should just hire my little brother. He already knows what he's doing. He knows a lot more than I do and probably be a really good, better asset than anyone else you could find."
Yeah.
And it was a huge thing where it's like, I was turning 20 and I was at a bar. You know, after like 8 o'clock, the bar doesn't let people under 21 in. So like I was literally like the only like 20-year-old that was like allowed there.
Yeah.
So right as soon as the band was done and like everything was packed up, I would have to clock out and leave.
What?
Yeah.
Because they didn't let you hang around like 1 second after it?
Like it's, yeah, with like, TABC, like all the alcoholic stuff, it's like, yeah, it's a risk and we're not willing to take it. Which I never snuck a drink there at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember my first night there. It was my first night of working. I worked with like 3 other people. It's dwindled down to 2 other people now.
Okay.
But it was one of the guys. His name is Zach. It was his birthday, and so they're like all like bringing out a round of shots for them to do. Yeah. And I was just like left out. He's like, one of the guys like, "Hey, here's a shot of just pickle juice." I was like, "Fine, I'll feel included." But it was just so funny. And I got hired October of 2016. And I didn't turn 21 until September of 2017.
So you worked there for almost like an entire year?
Almost an entire year of just not like having to just leave.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Especially like after doing all that damn work and it's like, oh, you know what? Let me just chill out for a minute. It's like, nah, clock out.
Yeah, no, it's like clock out. It's like, bye. And then, yeah, throughout the years, some of the other stage crew have left, some have stayed. But now it's like me and Zach are actually the only ones who've been there forever. Some of the other people have left. So we actually recently hired a third person where I'm going to have to teach him how to do the job.
Really?
Well, it was a thing where it's like Zach is technically my supervisor, but him and I have worked so like closely for so long, for so many years, where it's like we consider ourselves equals, but he just has the title and the responsibility.
Gotcha.
But it was a thing where it's like since I'm the one who runs most of front of house, he runs like all the lights and stuff. Zach's like, yeah, I'm going to delegate you to find our third sound guy. And I was like, why? He's like, well, you're going to be the one training them. I'm going to be doing lights. I was like, damn it. And it was a thing where I was like going through mentality wise. I was like, do I want to hire someone who I know can already do the job and would expect too much or just like be a hassle the entire time? Or would I rather hire a friend of mine who I can trust to be professional? They have an interest in the job and like that urgency to always want to learn more. True. I was like, I'd rather put my money on that person personally.
Yeah, you might run into like someone who like, I know what I'm doing. You can't tell me what to do. Yeah. And plus if you get someone who's wanting to learn how to do it, you get to at least shape the job and get it done the way that you need it to get done. You know what I mean? Because that's the way they're learning it. But you give someone an opportunity to actually go through and like basically get like their own little like internship or what do you call it? I don't know, like internship or like with a mentor that's going to show them like the basic steps. And like I said, it'll drive them a little bit more to want to go and learn on their own. Like Speaking of, hey, we were just talking about your heat stroke.
What?
Your heat stroke at Chill Sounds.
Yeah.
What are you eating?
Wings. Wings and a vanilla Dr. Pepper.
That sounds healthy. I'm glad you're watching yourself, bud.
I feel sorry for your toilet later.
TJ just walks. Oh damn, that's the shared toilet. He just walked in with wings. You got atomic. It's gonna burn that.
Oh,
asshole.
dude, that's good.
Anyways,
we were saying, like hiring someone I knew I could trust and I could just build them up. I'd prefer that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I put more faith in people than like people with like a really good character than people who say they know what they're doing.
Well, at the end of the day, like different jobs are going to require different things. Obviously. But in this case, when you have somebody where you do have the time to to train them, and then someone who's wanting to actually like learn that. That's your combination. Like, okay, if you have good character, but like this doesn't interest you, like it's not gonna work. But if something's like, it's like, hey, like I really want to do this, and it's like, okay, like and you have time, because like sometimes like you might be pressed and you're like, I don't have the time to train.
Yeah.
But in this case, like you're taking the responsibility. You know that you can do it.
Yeah, and luckily like the training will be like always on the job. It's never, and like, he's a really good friend of mine, so he could always text me the questions. But a lot of the questions would come up when we're doing the job. And luckily, because I get to work on the same stage and I know like all of the gear we're using, I can work pretty quickly and then talk him through it either like during miking up something or like after where like the band's going on. And
like, on the job, like, so where he's able to actually like, hey, like I'm having this problem, and you tell them on the spot, like specifically to like where you're working. It's like if you're missing like a cable, like this is where they are, like or if this needs to be plugged in here, like specifically this is where you're going to be working, like so you're going to learn it exactly. But I mean that's cool. That I'm glad that they're actually open to like being that like that teacher for somebody and being able to be open, because like you run into like these things where you sometimes you want to find somebody to help you like do these things, and you can't find anybody that's gonna like be patient with you and like have like take the time to like actually give a crap that you're having trouble. I'm like, Larry, because like I'm sure you like people run into like stuff like that all the time where I'm like, hey, I want to learn, but like this person like is expecting me just to know it all.
Well, especially like someone like that would also like character wise fit in with like the rest of the staff, because like the entire staff of the bar I work at, we're all really chill people. We don't do anything dumb unless like provoked. Like if some customer is being really horrible or harassing people, then we'll put our foot down and be like, okay, it's time for you to leave. Like close out, leave. And so I wanted to hire someone like who just fits in that mold, and luckily my buddy was going through like change in his life where he quit his pharmaceutical job just because he hated the 9 to 5. He hates like all that corporate kind of stuff. And he's driving for like Lyft or something right now. I think he's like trying to change which one he's doing right now. But so I was like, hey, like, would you want to do this as a side thing? Luckily, like he got married last year, so like luckily his wife makes pretty good money, so he can do something like this. I was like, hey, do you just want to change in your life and just like a change of profession? Like we're chill here. We can do all this. Like we can have like a lot of fun while working. And he was like. He's like, are you messing with me? I was like, no. Like, I'm literally offering you a job. Like, obviously you have to go through like some loophole, like rabbit holes, and like talk to our owner, talk to our general manager. But I'm pretty sure like the job is yours if you want it. And so I feel bad about, because we talked to him like, he probably got hired like the second to last week of December, like prior to Christmas, and we had 3 shows lined up that he would like like test the waters on to see if like he wanted it, and we would see if he's a good fit. And he worked one show. The other show got canceled because it got really cold out in Texas weather, and the stage is outside.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then the third one, it was supposed to be a Queen tribute band, which like it's kind of like being thrown in the fire at that point. But at that time, his wife tested positive for COVID. So he's like, I can't be there.
That sucks.
So it's funny, he just had the one show.
But he decided on that, like he's like, for it.
So like just because like the nature of Texas in the winter, like weather's unpredictable, we typically will take January and February off of doing shows. So we're just to bar at that point.
Okay.
And then we pick back up in March. So like, right now I don't get any shifts to do shows there, and I'm paid hourly. But so what I do now is I pick up bartending shifts there. Yeah, some people trust me to be a bartender for some reason. The second thing is, luckily because of Daniel, I've been getting like shifts, like shows, offers in Fort Worth to run shows for them.
I actually, he was just telling me about that through like Brooks and stuff. So now you can Brooks do like stuff Brooks like at the Post and like what else? Fort Brewery. That's cool. But you were saying though, you got to come all the way down here. Like,
I drive. Fort Worth. Like call time is usually around 5 for me to show up to the venue, and so I have to leave around 4, and that's right when like traffic really starts to pick up. So usually. I ran a show at the Post on Sunday, and like to get there was like an hour, but to get back was only like 35 minutes back home. And I was like, well, damn it. And then like to get here, it was like an hour 12 just because I left a little bit later than I normally do to get to Fort Worth, and there was just like 3 different wrecks.
Oh my god!
So like I love being like the opportunity to do more shows and like run more shows and see more bands and like keep the gears moving. But at the same time, like fuck this commute. I don't want to do it.
The commute is rough. Like I've every time I go, like there's like a bunch of shows that happen like out at Killers, and like I went at one of the dudes people I had on the podcast was having here. They were up there, and it was like a stormy day, so it took me like an hour and a half to like get up there. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't like commuting like for stuff.
It was like Texans in like normal weather, they already kind of suck at driving.
It's very true.
A lot of people like tailgate. A lot of people like speeding or driving like animals. When it's rainy, they get worse.
They can't handle it, and like everybody's like going super freaking slow and like doing like dumb shit.
They're either getting like super slow or really fast. It's like you realize how traction works, right? And then the worst is like when there's ice.
Oh,
which rarely happens, but obviously it does.
That's why, because it rarely happens. We like don't know what the fuck to do. I was like, just stay home.
Yeah.
Like when, like, man, last year, I'm sure that caught like everybody like
that
super,
snowstorm.
Yeah, like they were. I think like this weekend, someone's like, "There's a might chance for snow," and I was like, "Please, no." Like I don't want that at all. And we got super lucky because here, like, I mean, you probably saw it coming in, but like, there's all these hospitals around, so we're on the hospital grid. We never lost power. We never lost anything.
I never did either.
Really? Oh,
yeah. My apartment complex is on the same like grid as the fire station across the street.
Yep.
And the jail a little bit further down the street. It was so funny. The day prior to the snow starting, a transformer blew in that area.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and it was fixed within about an hour or so. But like obviously with the jail and like the fire department, they need all that stuff to be working.
They have
24/7.
to make sure it's working. Yeah.
So luckily it got fixed so quickly. And then the next day, a snowstorm where other people like shit was going out. I was like, well, had that transformer not blown the day prior, it might have blown. During, and it might have been harder.
Nobody would have came out there because everyone's having the issue. Yeah, that's what because we were like telling people like, yeah, you can come over here, but at the same time, like, there's a fucking snowstorm. We probably shouldn't be out anyways. So we like, I felt kind of for the first like day, I think we felt guilty. We were like, man, this kind of sucks. And then after that, we started playing video games.
Yeah. Well, luckily, we never lost power or electricity or internet, which I know some people weren't so lucky, but. At the time, I had a different car. I had a Ford Explorer, like big SUV, and it has like the ability to like switch how it like to 4-wheel drive for like snowstorms.
Gotcha.
So I was literally like just able to like drive to a grocery store, pick up all the food we needed for like a week or so, and come back. And also, friends who had like older cars are like, I have no power. It's like if you want to stay here for a day or two, you gotta sleep on a couch.
Yeah.
But at least you'll be warm, have entertainment, and we're probably just gonna get drunk all day.
That's what like we said. We're just like, you know what? I mean, we have couches. Like, people can come stay here, and like no one took us up. But same thing. I think we were like we went out one day and like to look around because luckily they had just opened. There's like a CVS, like a 24-hour CVS, and they never closed. Like, so we're like, oh, okay, we'll look, and they still had like some basic food and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, okay, like we should be fine. But yeah, a lot of people weren't lucky. Yeah. Like, I think my mom didn't have power, but luckily she still has like gas powered like heaters and stuff, so she was okay. But yeah, I had a lot of friends who were like having an awful time. So anytime, like now literally like now literally that line has been drawn where like now people are like, oh, snow. It's like, no, like
it's like not anymore. Never again.
Plus that fucking pile up on 35 was fucking awful. It's fucking tragic, dude. That's fucking insane. I think my girlfriend's mom works for like part of the highway, and that part is part of her responsibility. Yeah. So she's like, I still get calls like to this day, like they're still like working through like different like people trying to sue and different things. Like, so it's everything's still like in motion from that day.
They were backed up for how? Like,
I can't remember because it was
I want to say like 17 hours, but I think that's too aggressive.
I don't know because there's a lot of cars.
I just remember like seeing that like on Twitter and stuff. I'm just like, this really suck if you have to go to the bathroom.
Just take a shit right there. Just cover it with some snow.
It's like, that's so bad.
You just got to get out and start walking.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but Yeah, speaking of how I met you, we were talking. I was like, wait, like we met Cameron like through Humanican, right?
Yeah,
you were
yeah.
playing because you were playing drums in Humanican.
It was so funny because I had been in other bands and then I quit the other bands, and within like the same like month and a half or so of me getting the job at Harvest House, running sound and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I got propositioned to join Humanican. Like my life went from like 0 to 60 just like that, where it's like, yeah, I'm working all these shows and I'm also got to go play all these shows.
Yeah.
And so, that's about the time where I started like slowly integrating into the Dallas DFW like music scene, where it's like, I think Farhad, a good friend of mine, obviously you've had him with Justin and who was in
Farhad's
Humanican
great.
with me.
Yeah.
Love them. I think I met him at, I think it was like Unsilent Night at Tomcats. And that was the first time I met him.
No, that's a long time ago.
Oh, it was like, December 2016. Yeah. It was like 5 years ago. But, actually, 5 years. It was like, and I went with Taylor and his girlfriend at the time. And, he's like, yeah, it's our buddy Farhad. You're going to love him. I didn't interact with him before the set. So we got there about when they're starting to play. They're doing their sound check and they're about to get ready. And then, I just see how charismatic and like a character Farhad becomes when he plays. And I was like, oh, dude, this guy's going to be weird. or he's going to be like they kept describing him as like down to earth, but he's like doing like some demonic possession shit.
And then one of those artists,
and then
process.
Yeah, then we're outside, they were loading the gear in the cars, and I was like, Taylor's like, "What's up, loser?" It's like all this shit. It was like shit talking him. I was like, "Are they friends?" And Farhad gives it right back. I was like, "Okay, this is good." And then he starts interacting with me, and he's like the nicest guy. I was like, "Oh my god!" Yeah, it's like
he's the sweet. I actually just saw him yesterday because his Backtalk played Haltom Theater, so I saw him. But yeah, literally anytime I see Far, and it doesn't matter how long it's because I think the longest we had not probably interacted was before Chill Sounds with a lot of people actually. Probably Chill Sounds was that for me. But yeah, he's one of the people that anytime I see him, we'll go right back to he's just always a fucking sweetheart. Literally always.
It's like
the
without
nicest person.
without skipping a beat. It's just like you saw him last week, even though it's been 8 months, or longer.
Because it's been since I had him here, which was at least October, maybe a little before that.
About around there, I think.
Yeah,
that's about
but,
when the time Justin and them were talking.
But yeah, that's that whole point, because you guys were one of the first bands I think we when we were playing a band became friends with.
Yeah,
because I was brand new to any of seeing stuff and meeting people and making friends, musician friends. I'm so it was all new to me. I'm there's so many people that are doing this shit. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Well, it's sometimes you feel like the odd man out because a lot of these people have either played in bands with each other or they've known or they played with their bands played the same bill so many times that they know each other like best friends. And being the odd man out, I was just I'm the new kid. And I hope y'all accept me. I'm just here.
I just want. Yeah. I'm cool.
And then it became a thing where now I can't go to any show without having to have a 20-minute conversation with 8 different people.
Yeah.
Because I went to what's that? It was in December or something. What was it? Oh, damn it.
Think
it was that thing at I don't even remember what venue it was at. I remember I was going to see my friend's brother's Danny Goo. So she had an extra ticket that she was like, "Hey, you want to go see my brother?" He gave me a ticket and I already bought one. Do you want this ticket? So I just went and I ran into Jonathan Flores, who I haven't seen in so long.
Another sweetheart.
Jojo Centineo.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen him in years.
I've never met Jojo.
Really cool guy. When he was first starting doing his production stuff. Now he lives out in California and
fucking crazy shit now.
Doing a lot of awesome stuff. I was actually helping him I was basically his studio tech for a minute. Where
really?
I was helping him mic stuff up. Him and I would bounce ideas how to mic things up, how to make the mix weird. And then I got busy doing live sound and he kind of dug into the production side more, and he's kicking ass at it. He's got all these bigger names hitting him up. But so Unsilent was it Unsilent Night, I think.
Maybe it was if it was Danny Goo playing, well, maybe it was Unsilent Night. It might have been Unsilent Night or Emo Night or something like that.
It definitely wasn't Emo Night. I refuse to go to Emo Night personally.
You refuse?
A little bit.
Boycott?
Not boycott. I'm just it's not a music show. It's
Yeah.
more like a club vibe, and
Yeah.
that's just not my thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like I have no problem with people who like love emo nights. Like, go have your fun time. It's just it's not my thing that I have fun at.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
I get that.
Like, yeah, you go have your fun.
Because I've been to a few, but like I for a while I was going to like one every time they were doing it, and
it's
I'm
like
like, why am I
once
doing
a-
it?
it's
They're
like
doing the
once a
same
month,
thing, except when they were like bringing people. Then I think I saw like Craig. I met Craig Owens, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's kind of cool. But yeah, for the most part, it is that like kind of vibe. Like, it's not really a live show.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like they do have some bands every now and then, and that's the only time I thought about going is my friends in Lost in Separation were playing.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm really good friends with the drummer Josh, and I went to high school / middle school with the guitarist Andrew.
Andrew Hickman is so fucking good.
Dude, he's so talented.
This the podcast right before I literally was just saying like Andrew Hickman's so good. Like it gets brought up. I'm gonna keep bringing it up until I can get him on here.
Hey.
That man is so fucking.
Yeah,
that man is
he-
so
he-
talented. Lost in Separation is just fucking. I love everything they do, and I want them
like-
to keep doing stuff.
They're the band. I'm like, how are you guys not touring like?
Yes,
with these, like,
you
and
look at them.
they've done like one tour with like I think it was like Velma or someone like 2 years ago, and I was like, so is that not just a normal thing for you guys? Like, you're gonna keep doing it, or
You need to keep doing it.
But I know a few of them still have like day jobs and stuff.
That's I mean,
which
with everything in this scene, like that's the thing. Like everyone's still doing something else. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like hard.
Yeah.
To make that jump, and especially like or because you've seen like so many people like make it and not make it. You know what I mean? So it's always a chance.
Yeah.
And like I said, everyone always has something else happening in the background, kind of thing.
like going back to that thing where it's like it's a luck thing.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're just at the right place at the right time, or sometimes like you've been like dragging yourself for like years, and like even though you have the talent and everything for it, you just haven't gotten like that lucky break.
And I think that's probably them to a T. Like I think they as soon as like they get one of those, like they're fine, because they're one of those bands. I'm like, they're gonna hit like them. Animal Jam, I'm a super big fan. I'm just like, I go, they're gonna hit.
They
their
played at
stride
Chill
and
Sounds
it's-
before. I've always amazed.
So good. And then like one of the old bands, which I was like one of those that I was like, I mean, they don't exist anymore, and I hate it. But when I was starting to play, one of the bands I looked up to in the scene was Hollowells. I don't know if you remember a band called Hollowells.
I don't think so.
I don't know why. Like to this day, I still remember the singer's name. Like I never met him, but his name's Lucas Cody. Anyways, they were like, I've heard this band. I'm like, they're fucking good. I was like, they're touring. They're doing all this shit. And I'm like, no, they had like a 4-song EP that never got released. They only released 2 singles.
Yeah.
And like then they broke up out of nowhere. I think because it was like, who was in that band? I think it's like someone named Brandon Crabtree, who's like a producer now. Or something
yeah.
I think
I know the
if I'm
name. I don't
mistaken,
know him
yeah.
personally.
But they went into something different. But there's always like these bands that sometimes I see them like they're fucking great. Like they're gonna hit something, but you gotta. It takes more than talent. Like it takes so much these days, and like it even like just social media like fucking engagement and shit like that is fucking weird to me. And I'm still trying to get used to it because like every podcast now I'm like, okay, like I have to create like 4 to 5 pieces of content after this thing, and like and figure that out. Like how do you share them? Like now with like TikTok and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to. Do you hop on TikTok trends and like cater them to you? Like, sure, like it has worked for people.
Do you do your trends, or do you cater to a specific audience that could easily build?
Yeah, it's. I still am trying to figure it out.
I've never understood it. Like I have social media. I'm on social media all the time. I rarely post.
Yeah.
It's just like I've like bad ADHD. I get distracted, so I need some like consistently changing.
Yeah.
And like I've scrolled on through TikTok for like 3 hours. At times.
That's the thing. The bad thing and good thing about TikTok is that it is very good at catering what's going to keep you on there.
That algorithm is so insane.
It is insane because I'm like, oh yeah, like, and I now I'm like looking. I haven't looked it up because I don't want to know, but I'm like, yeah, I think they look at not only if you like something, but like how much like you spend like watching something, and like because I'm like, oh, I'll stop on something, watch it for like 3 seconds, and I was like, not right now, and then like it'll pop up one again like right after, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll watch it, and like, but it freaks me out because I've been on there for like hours, and I'm like, I've been holding my phone, and I'm like, I was like, why is my wrist hurting? I was like, because it's 3 hours later,
Because I've been like this the entire time, yeah.
and it's still on there. But yeah, that place is freaky, but it's kind of, it is cool to see sometimes like where these people are like. utilizing and like blowing up
Yeah,
like
yeah.
their music. Like I've seen a lot of like artists do that. Like there's an artist that the company that DJ works with sometimes, Aeronautics, that we work with. They hosted like, it's one of these girls. I'm like, who is it? Like, but they have like this big following, and I finally looked it up. But one of their songs like blew up on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, like that's weird that that's a propelling factor now. Like that literally can turn you from like not having shit to like people knowing who you are, like off of one like viral thing.
I mean, that's like how YouTube was.
True.
It's just like just social media in general has a lot more power than we think.
Yeah. Over, which is cool and scary.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I think everyone's had the moment where like they say something out loud and all of a sudden like they get an ad for it. Like I'm like, okay, like sure, like I wanted to find that, but
it's like
I don't
government.
Like yeah,
no,
no, it's not. It's everybody else selling your fucking. But it's also like, is it really listening? Is it really like? They just monitor everything you do, like everything you look up, everything you like. And it's like, sure, it's not. I don't think it's that hard to guess what you're gonna be in the mood for.
Yeah.
If we're constantly like searching like stuff that like, oh, we have a question, we look it up. If we like want something to eat or look up a recipe how to do, like this, it's like sure, that data is being gathered somewhere, so it's easy to build a profile off of you. But
well, there's a thing with like in Google where it's like it's like a trend thing where it's like you can Google a certain phrase or a word and it can show you like how many people like looked it up in a certain time era. Yeah, so like you could like let's say like Pokemon. It's like a lot of people and then you can look at like the statistics of like how many people like Googled the word or the phrase Pokemon. It's like obviously, and they'll show you like the bumps during like certain times of the year. Like you can break it down between like years, months, weeks, stuff like that. So you could just see, and especially like, you would always like see this trend of like, when a Pokemon game's coming out or like a trailer for a new game's released, like you can always see like that uptick and stuff like that.
Interesting.
And you can do that with like other words too.
Yeah, probably have to do anything.
So it's like, they definitely are keeping all that data whenever you Google.
It's going somewhere. And that's why like a lot of these services are free sometimes because it's like, oh, okay, like we'll take your...
Yeah, we'll just take your data.
And take your data. And then we were like, oh, fuck it, I don't give a shit, like whatever. But that's like what they sell to like your advertising and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll get it. Stuff sold. And it fucking works.
I mean, yeah. I mean, luckily, I don't... There are a lot of people who like really love their privacy and stuff like that, which I totally understand and respect. But like, I'm just like, fuck it.
I'm literally at this point like, what am I gonna hide? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's. I feel like it's hard to turn back on it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if from the beginning, like, I'd have been like, nah, fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? Because there was a time. This is back when MySpace was around. I refused to get a MySpace page.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. I was like, why? Because it's dumb. And someone made one for me, and then made it. I think they put like they put pictures of like some girl that I went to school with, and they're like, oh, I fucking love this girl. This and that, posted it under my profile, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like, hey man, you can delete it if you want. Here's the login information. My fucking friends, I realize now that's fucking diabolical.
They
it's like
guilted you.
They literally made a whole
media.
profile and covered it and all this shit. And I'm like, why did you do that? It's like, well, they're gonna think it's you. Like they took pictures. I think they took a picture of me, so they post like as a profile picture on their phone. And he's like, here's the login information. Take it down. And I was like, fine. And I got it. Took it down that night. Yeah. And I was like, what is this in here? And after then, I've been
let me browse for a minute.
I mean, so I would have to take a time machine to that moment and been like, slap it out of my hand. And just like, no.
Just don't.
But see, now I'm too deep in it. There's no going back. Like, how do you can't really erase a digital footprint at this point.
Yeah, especially because like, a lot of people announce their shows and stuff through social media. Literally, there's 2 restaurants in Denton. I always check because they always have a daily special. So like I always get on Facebook. Like first I wake up like, what am I gonna eat there for lunch? Yep. Because every Monday this place always has like a burger special. Oh, okay. It's like a new burger every Monday. It's like I love burgers. So what kind of burger? So every Monday as soon as I wake up, because I wake up pretty late, I'm just like, cool. What do they have today? Oh, that looks good. Gonna do it.
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons. Because I've had like moments where I'm like, you know what? I don't really. The thing about not posting, I went through like a while. I'm like, I'm not really posting anything. I was like, why do I want to even have this? But one, because like we have like now we have like NoiseROT and we have like chill sounds and stuff. I'm like, well, I have to be posting on there anyways. Like, so I have to have it. And then shows and stuff like that, everything gets announced through like all these things. The one thing I haven't, and I don't know if I'll ever get around to it. I feel like I sound old right now, but I'm like, it's one of those things I won't learn anymore. But it's Twitter. Like, I literally
I have Twitter. I look at it sometimes, but when I'm looking at it, I'm looking to see what's like trending.
Yeah.
Like within like the nation. And the one time I fucking check it was December 31st. Found out Betty White died. I was like, fuck Twitter.
Yeah, fuck Twitter. Like, this is why I don't fucking come on here.
I was like, God, because like the last time for that, it was like something else bad happened. Like every time I need to stop going on Twitter because like one of the past times I looked at it, it was last year, January 6th.
Oh my God.
I was like, man, I wonder what's happening. It's like, oh, that's happening right now. That's great.
So hold on. Are there bad things happening that you happened upon because you're logging onto Twitter? Or are bad things happening because you're logging onto Twitter?
I think it's because I'm logging onto Twitter.
I think you need to get off of Twitter.
I don't even use it. I think I need to just delete it.
When did COVID start? Did you log on Twitter? Holy,
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
No. I think I downloaded because after COVID, I got a new phone, and then I started downloading like all the social media apps.
I like how you took it seriously.
No,
like, wait, hold on.
I was like, I got to put the timeline right.
It's like, no.
Yeah. So no,
this is in court.
I got Twitter. Like I've always had the Twitter. I've had the Twitter account for years, but I downloaded Twitter back to my phone like after COVID because I was like stuck at home all day. I need social media to keep my brain busy because there's only so many times I can watch the John Wick trilogy in a row.
That's a good way to spend time, though. Honestly, that's how TikTok got most people. It was COVID. Because I was the same day, I was like, I'm not downloading TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone got to that point of boredom where it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's look at it.
Like, if COVID didn't happen, I don't think any of the people who got popular in there would be popular right now.
Yeah, because you literally had...
Fuck.
God damn it. What the fuck? We're trying to host a professional podcast here.
It's not professional.
It's not professional.
I fucking doubt that.
I'll
You
say.
brought food?
Yeah.
Cool. But, yeah. That's where the TikTok takeover happened.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. Bernie's just popped up in here.
I'm just gonna.
I'm
just gonna delete Twitter right now.
You doing it?
I'm deleting it right now.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Ermish deleting Twitter. The world will be a better place for it.
I'll check like actual news sources.
He just deleted the app off his phone. He's gonna it's gonna re-download automatically when he gets home to his Wi-Fi.
I'll just check.
Did you mean to delete this? No, you didn't.
I'll check news sources like a real person, like a real journalism, not some random person's opinion on Twitter.
No, I don't know. Do you run into those where you try to look at news stories like you've already exceeded your amount of like news like these things?
No.
The paywalls on like news sites.
Oh, I hate that.
I'm like, I don't care. Like it's too like once that like I will not like go to and it's probably like I get it. Like okay, you do have to support a publication for it to keep working.
Yeah, some of them aren't even paywalls where they're just like, just give us your email and we'll send you like newsletters. Like I don't want that either.
Exactly, that's worse.
I was like, fuck it, I'll go to some other news.
Oh man, the other day because I'm terrible. There's one email that I use for stuff, and then like that I made a new email because I'm like, there's so much crap coming in here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, so I finally like dug in there. I was like, all right, it's time to clean this email up.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't just because I usually just go in and delete everything, but this time I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna go through these things and I'm gonna unsubscribe to everything.
Yeah.
Finally, and there's so much shit that I had on there. Like, subscribe. I'm like, why am I getting all this crap? And it's like one time that I looked up one thing.
Yeah.
And then like, I was like, oh, okay, put your email in or whatever. And then like, you start getting these things like unlimitedly. Just like, fuck, these people don't quit once you're on that list. And even the unsubscribe, I had issues with like unsubscribing to shit. It's like, oh, okay, you click unsubscribe. Then it would take me to this. It's like, are you sure? I had to fill out a fucking questionnaire for one. I'm like, why? Like, it's like, why are you leaving? I was like, bitch, because I hate you. Like, on all of us, talking shit.
I think on one of those, when it said, why are you leaving? I said, fuck you, that's why.
I think I got on the same thing. Yeah. Like, the first one was like, none of your fucking business.
I was like, it should just be a click of a button to unsubscribe. And maybe, like, are you sure kind of thing? Yeah. You know, just in case. But it shouldn't have to be a questionnaire. When it's a questionnaire, I'm going to get fucking angry. I'm going to speak my goddamn mind.
I got to the point where I was appreciating the ones where, like, I click unsubscribe and it's like, you have been unsubscribed. I'm like, wow, stand-up company. Yeah. Like, you know what? Maybe I will.
Yeah. Or it's like, I'll give you my business. Just quit fucking sending me the emails.
Stop sending me shit. And I think I'm getting to the point where I got to go back and do that again. But yeah, man, that is crazy. That is insane stuff. Harvest House. You've been there 5 years. That place is cool, dude. I remember
yep.
the first show I saw there was
Werewolf Therewolf.
Werewolf Therewolf.
I don't know how I memorized that.
You know why? Because Werewolf Thewolf was fucking fantastic.
I still talk to Cameron Sather a decent amount, and their bass player Carlo.
Yeah, I
really cool
talked
dude.
to Carlo. Yeah, Carlo's really nice.
But
we trauma bonded, so we're cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it? Yeah. The place has been open for almost March will mark 7 years.
Wow.
I think.
How long have you been in Denton? Because you said
the 5 years. Like I kind of moved up to Denton with the anticipation of that job at Harvest.
Okay.
And then I was kind of sitting on my ass for a few weeks, not knowing. And then I get hit up like one day. It's like, hey, you want to make this like October 6th be your first day? I was like, yeah, please. Thank you.
Like, please. Yeah. Yes. It's like, I already live here. I need it.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been there for 5 years.
I every time I go up to Denton, I'm like, I need to come out here a lot more because it's like, it's one of those really like little, like, I don't know, like a niche community. And it's like, I like stuff. It's pretty big for us. It's not a small town, but it's smaller than like here.
I mean, it has like a small community, but it's like a medium-sized town because a lot of the stuff that like people go to tends to be like around the square or like Fry Street or any of the numerous house shows that happen.
Yeah.
So like there are different like sectors depending on like your personality type. Like, a lot of the college kids will hang out on Fry Street because it's like right next to the university. There's like all the house shows and there's that community as well. And then there's like the venue / slightly older people that like hang out at the bars that are also like venues too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's more of a more mature crowd. And like, luckily I grew up hanging out at those bars. So I know how to like not be like a young
interact with it,
a young 20-year-old shithead who doesn't know how to treat a lot of the service industry people. Where it's become a thing where it's like I become friends with a lot of the bartenders at the other bars, and they'll buy me shots, or like I don't even have to like take out my wallet to show them my ID. They just wave me through.
That's what I've noticed that about like service industry. Like everyone's like once you start like getting to know other people, like most people like when you're cool with them and they know you're part of the same like service industry, they're like, oh fuck it, we'll hook you up here, you hook like, and then you do it vice versa.
Yeah, it's almost like I can akin it to like the music scene. It's like we're headlining this show like for our EP release. You guys want to hop on the bill, like stuff like that, where it's like, you build like this rapport with like a lot of people just because you have a lot of shared interests.
True. Because I remember when we did our EP release show, like that was one of the cool things. So like literally every band that we got to play was like, I fucking love every one of these bands.
Did it? I think we played. No, I can't remember if we played or I just showed up to it.
You might have just gone because I think it was.
Or I think.
I don't know what's going on with Mannequin at the time.
I think around that time,
look up the flyer.
Order 66, I think.
Because Backtalk played. I know Backtalk played. I know.
So I definitely would have been there to see them.
Charles the Man played. We got Via Versus R.I.P.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Mannequin too, man.
Yeah, I mean it's been a while.
It's still though, man. I still think about it. I'm like, man,
I can't.
Oh, by the way, here while we looked that up, did you see this shit?
Oh yeah,
we were talking about like the fucking Tony Hawk shit, but like,
dude,
this shit is crazy. Like when we were there it is. Were you on there?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys fucking were on there. Yeah, Backtalk, Trials of Man, Orchards. Oh man, RJ, where's RJ these days? Anyways, Humanican and Drown This Kingdom. Drown This Kingdom used to be the homies. Oh, it was a good time. Look at this. This is cool looking flyer.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
But so because I know while we were young, I saw that earlier as soon as I woke up, went on like social media, and then I saw that and I was like, damn, like, but I don't want to spend money going to fucking Las Vegas.
Yeah, I think the tickets are starting off like $300 or some shit like
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah, but because this is all one day, and I'm like, that's crazy.
It's kind of like because all those bands are like pretty big in their own right, so it's like. Who's gonna open? Who's opening?
Yeah, literally, it's like who's gonna open? Because that festival's gonna start early as shit.
It has to. I mean, I assume it's gonna be like a thing where it's like multiple stages. Mm-hmm. I feel like it has to be, but at the same time, it's just like it just seems like it's a big production by the looks of it, especially with bands of that caliber.
Yeah,
where I would love to see how long they've been planning this. because Daniel's been talking about like the next Chill Sounds for a while, and I always like trying to solidify things. And I don't know how much he's done, but like especially, a show like that with like of that tier, and especially in Las Vegas,
had to have been planned for like a really long time. And some of these bands are like literally, how are they lining up stuff like Paramore just recently like announced that they're working like on another album.
Yeah.
And that just happened like recently. Okay, so they like get in talks with Paramore and be like, oh, are you guys doing something around this thing? Because other than that, Paramore wasn't doing anything.
It's like here's the date.
Like, oh,
what do you got?
This. Even like My Chemical
Romance.
Like
I think The Used is on there.
The Used.
Ice Nine Kills, I remember.
Armor for Sleep is fucking on here. Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah.
We the Kings. I haven't heard them do anything since fucking Check Yes Juliet, are you with me? Yeah, you know that one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean Hawthorne Heights has been doing stuff now. The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus I saw is on it. You know what's disrespectful?
What?
Their font is blue. That's fucked up. Someone did that on purpose. Someone doesn't like Red, but there's
Red Jumpsuit Apparatus does that for a bit to irritate other people.
That'd be fucking.
Dude, I'll support that.
It's like I'll support. But yeah, like stuff like that, like had to have been planned like for a super long time,
especially like accommodating like all their different schedules and stuff too.
Yeah, because literally like once Chill Sounds 2 like finished, even before then, like we were already talking like oh okay, what if this happens again? And once like Chill Sounds happened and like the second one, and we were just like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, this has to be a thing. And then like I think the next day we were like already talking about like, okay, next year these are certain fixes.
Like, even like the following day when I came up to pick up all my equipment, I was like picking up all my microphone stuff. Dude, Daniel was like talking with Gary about like what to do next.
Yeah,
and I was like, we're not even like 18 hours away from the ending of the show, and you already got like that's like one of the things I respect about Daniel is like he's already plotting like taking like all the positives and like seeing how he can make them better and taking the negatives and seeing how like he could turn this around.
Yeah, that's literally was like the next day, and I for a second was like, dude, like it just happened. Like let's hold on, we have a second. But I was like, you know what, we really don't like we do need to start like working it. Because his plan is not to have Chill Sounds for 2 again. Like his plan is to what can we do for this thing to be better again next year. I'm like, okay, so like elevation, and plus like there's stuff like our first step was like, okay, the shit that went wrong, let's take care of that first. Okay,
I think even no, I don't know if I should say that.
What?
It was like an idea he threw out there.
Oh, is that
that camera?
That bitch got hot.
Oof.
Well,
now it's just me.
Now it's just you.
Apparently,
now it's just you. Yeah.
It was a thing where he thought about.
I'll just put a picture of me up. For
It was a thing where he talked about maybe doing it like at a bigger venue, like an actual venue, not just Gary's.
So,
I don't know if he's.
You shut up. That's why the camera turned off right there. That's why my camera turned off. It should have been yours.
Your camera, yeah.
But no, yeah. There's like different ideas. It hasn't been like we haven't solidified any. But yes, like different like ideas got brought up right away, and we're like, and. In the past, I might have been like, "That's fucking crazy," but after like what we did, after what he like, I can't even say we. I'm like, after what like he did, I'm like, yeah, like, and now that's what we were saying. Like with NoiseROT now, it's like, oh, we have an actual like team like to build stuff off of. Like now we're like anticipating like the things that we need to get done, and it's fucking like it's gonna be so fucking cool.
Yeah, No, I'm excited to see what happens. I'm hoping I'm available to work, or I guess invited to work. I don't know.
You might be.
Probably.
You probably will be.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll probably be around in some capacity. I just don't know what.
Yeah. You won't be there. You won't be there. But no, we appreciate it. I mean, I keep telling, but I'm very vain. I want to be on camera, and my camera is dead, so podcast is over.
Was it like the battery died or just overheated?
That just overheats. That one's not. That one's a different model than this one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's not mine. That one I'm borrowing.
Okay.
But yeah, so. New cameras. If you watch this or listen to it, stick through the ads and maybe I can buy a new fucking camera. You know how much I've made so far? I'm gonna say it on too.
$4.
35 cents.
Nice.
I
I try to give you some like. I try to build you up.
No, I appreciate you coming by. I didn't realize we were talking for that long already.
I was saying,
honestly,
yeah,
because I think we're at about an hour like already. Yeah.
Well, I got here around like. Oh yeah, no, it's been like,
it's definitely because
it's definitely
right before I looked at it and it was already at like 58 minutes and I'm like, oh okay, we've talked a lot. I'm like, all right.
I feel like it's been like 20 minutes.
Yeah, like
well, at the same time, like we just go off a topic.
Yeah. So. Which is what's cool. Which is what's cool about podcasts. You can do that. But I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah.
Catch Cameron where he's working out anywhere. Come see him at Harvest House. Come buy him shots after he gets off.
Come by sometimes even when I'm working.
Even when he's working. I don't care.
We also got the
and then now we see him at the Post.
And Fort Brewery.
You'll see him trying to sneak into the Kurt Travis show.
Oh, apparently I don't even need to sneak in. Okay, yeah, because the Kurt Travis show is happening at the Post. And I was telling one of the managers there, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to sneak in. And they're like, what do you mean? Why would you sneak in? I was like, oh, because I don't want to buy a ticket. And she's like, just walking through the back door. You know the access code to get in.
Like you work here.
It's like you work here. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Still got that. Still got the hooligan in you. But again, appreciate you, Cameron. You were fantastic. You're a great friend. I love talking to you.
Yeah, I love talking to you.
And you're one of those friends I still consider that. Literally, we just hang out and like we'll just be able to fucking just hang out and talk and go back to normal. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, especially like at Chill Sounds when I was like, I hadn't seen you in like a year and a half or something. Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Nothing's changed. What's up, dude?
We're cool. Yeah. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys later. You gotta tell them mine.